Hey, how's it going, guys? Phil Monteleone here, the book peddler. I'm coming to you from a shop in Smithville Flats, New York. If you haven't, I hope you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Book Peddler. Stay up to date on book picks, in-store, out-store activity, and business and selling experiences like this video. This video is going to be how to buy large book lots, large book hauls. And it was requested by, who requested this? Craig Shea and Mark Corbett. They both requested it, and I think it's a good video to make, guys, so I appreciate the request. I haven't found much out there of people talking about how they buy large book collections. Now, before I get started with this, I want to do a little bit of house cleaning. I hit my 500 subscribers. Really appreciate it from all you watching out there and all of your support. And what I did is I'm entering in the description a QRL code, I believe it's called, that'll get you directly to my seller site. And what I'm doing is anything from like $10 to $100, I'll do a 20% off for you guys, just to show my appreciation. At least I can try and do something for you. If you see a book or something that you like, or you want a handful of books, I figure I'll do a 20% off. So yeah, I appreciate it. And also, I hope I'm not forgetting to say anything, but there'll be links in the descriptions to my other social media sites, like my Instagram, my Facebook. I've been posting, like every 3 days, I'll post a special book or something, so that you can kind of see different things coming into the shop. So I basically carry one over to the other. So anyhow, one more shout out to Caroline's Paper Lab. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, during my 500 appreciation to the subscribers, there was a number of people I missed, and I'm very sorry, like Micah Howell and his wife. I mean, there's a number of people, but Chris Clark. Unfortunately, though, it was difficult with all the names and everything, and I didn't see everybody's name, and so, you know, I apologize for that, but do know that I appreciate all of your support out there. It means a lot to me. So with that being said, and Caroline got a lot of new subscribers to me. I garnish a lot of new ones. And so all you out there that are following me now through her, really appreciate that. And thank you very much, Caroline. Special thank you to you. And anybody else who shares my videos, Jake Mahoney did. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. All you guys out there, you're all pretty awesome and been real cool to me. So thank you. Okay, with that being said, I think I cleaned house. Let's get into this video. All right, let's get cooking, good looking. Time to get into buying large book hauls. Now, this is not the holy gospel and as to how to, but I think you'll be able to take some tips and pointers. If you're starting out, what I highly recommend is getting your feet wet at book sales, estate sales, things of this nature. You know, there's nothing that is experience is what's going to help you grow and learn about what you're doing, handling material. You have to constantly be handling material. You're going to know your buy points better and the rate of sale, or at least get a general idea. And you're just going to be more efficient at it. You're going to have a system worked out, and you're going to start killing it. So this year I got like 30 book picks to separate locations, which is pretty darn good. It's a lot of moving around, a lot of time. But I'm going to try to answer Mark and Craig's questions as best I can here. Now, I briefly just want to talk about the approach to begin with. When I get contacted, the first thing I do is vie for information. I generally would like people to send me pictures, so if need be, I can kind of investigate certain titles and, you know, get a grounding as to what I'm going to be getting into, kind of mentally prepared for it as well. I like to know what the collection consists of and what they're looking to do. Do you want me to cherry pick, take them all? In a large majority of the cases, it's I want to get rid of them all. In most of the cases, it's people that have inherited a collection and need to just move them, bought out somebody, they got to move these books. Sometimes they can be easy to work with. Sometimes they're just trying to get information off you in a quote. To be honest with you, it happened to me a couple times this year. That can be very frustrating. So you got to know if they're a motivated seller to begin with. I personally like working with a other book dealers because they understand that I got to make money, and they have knowledge as to going rates and whatnot. Sometimes they know more than I do on what they have. It's what they've collected, and I listen to them. I pay attention, but I also take into considerations of my own. I value what I know as well, and if something I perceive is not going to move as fast as what they may think, I say, okay, well, this is the best that I can do for you. And generally, people are easy to work with. If it's a collector, it can be a little more difficult because in a lot of cases, they've paid up for the books because they really wanted them. And it can be a little painful for them to let them go. So I got to get that grounding as to what I'm getting into. Now, do I have a formula? I do. It is a loose formula in a sense, but there's 5 key things that I wrote down that I do look for. And the number one thing, well, these aren't in any particular order, but is the desirability of the collection. Are there a lot of desirable titles? And again, this takes experience. I can only speak for myself. I know occult stuff moves well. My local history is pretty good. The hunting, fishing, Native American books. I know this stuff moves well. So it's of more of interest to me then. But I have different factors. I know what's also popular in the store. And I know individuals that would buy the book the next day. So, that's different from online. Number 2 is the rate of sale. How fast are these books going to take to move? And so how deeply should I get invested into them? And depending on what platform you sell on as well is going to have a lot to do with this. There's a guy out there, his name's Rake and Profit. If you're an Amazon seller, Raiken, Raiken, I highly suggest you look at him. He does a lot of the barcode scanning and interviews people that sell books as well. He's got a good template set up. He helped me when in terms of me watching his videos and educating me on how that process works and where you can buy. And there's apps and stuff that you can do that will show, if you know how to read it, the rate of sale. Is it going to move generally in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months? And that can determine your buy point. Me, I don't do it that way. That's another video for another time. I ain't interested in even getting into that. Find what you're comfortable with. I suggest you try out different platforms and figure out what's going to work best for you. Okay, that's all I can say. I don't do the scanning thing at all anymore. So number 3 is going to be the quantity. This is going to have to do with the amount of work. A lot of quantity means a lot of time invested, and time is money. Your time is valuable. My time's valuable. So that gets factored into the equation, the distance of the pick, the different logistics, okay? 4, condition and state. Conditions everything for buyers. Clean as possible and best shape as possible. This absolutely affects the buy point. And here is what I basically am offering in a loose way. I'm generally going to pay 30% of my perceived retail value on the material. Now, I'm going to get into each one of these points after in a minute here. But, this is always subject to change, and it constantly does. Some cases I'm offering, half of that percentage. Because they are low on desirability, rate of sale, and all the. I might not be offering anything. I might say I'll take them off your hands, because honestly, in a lot of the cases, you got to rewire your brain. You are doing them a favor in the large majority of cases. Most people, they got to pay for a dump to take them away or pay for a clean out. You're providing this service basically, especially, and again, this is where each pick is different. The logistics are different based on each pick. If I'm picking someone's private library, how I approach that is going to be different than a bunch of boxes boxed up in a storage unit, okay, or in a garage or something. It just is. So this is what I do. I'll tell you 2 separate examples. when I go into a private library, say, and the books are on the shelves, and they want them all gone or whatever, what I will do is take the cream of the crop and take them off the shelves and put them in a pile here. Also take any suspect, but any questionable ones that are of interest, and put them here for another look as well. The general stuff, the stuff that may be out there quite heavily, there's a lot of printings, I could get them for a library sale at $1, whatever that case may be, I leave them on the shelves. I don't base my buy on these books. I base it on the cream of the crop here. It's not going to break my heart if I leave with these or not. I could care less, because that just equals work. I mean, if a book's clean and stuff, I can list these in like 5 minutes. I can shoot them out pretty quickly. So if it's between $10, $20, yeah, I'll get a great return on it, and that's fine with me. I'm not getting rich, but I'm basing it on the cream of the crop. Now, it's attention to detail. What happened to my... I'm going to bring the camera up in a minute. When I'm going through the cream of the crop books... Hold on 1 minute. All right, guys. I'm in a new wardrobe. Next day, I was talking to a camera that wasn't moving, and this is the third time I tried to make this video today because I constantly get interrupted during the day. That's why I usually do these at night. But let me get back to what I was saying, and hopefully this is the last take I gotta do here. I base my buy on the cream of the crop, as I was saying. Now, when I go into the cream of the crop, I'm paying attention to detail. Say I come across this beautiful 3-volume set here, okay? I'm looking at the condition. I'm basing it again on the things that I previously said, which is condition, rate of sale, desirability. I'm seeing this has a split in the binding. There's extensive rubbing to the edges. I'm looking at the content, seeing if the desirability of buyers in the shop first and foremost. But I do have a general idea of online. I look at the publishing date. They're clean pages. It's held well. Now, this one is published earlier than these two. Same presentation. That could be for a number of reasons. Now, I ask myself in my head, based on my experience, what should I be able to pull for this book? And generally, then I even tick the number down a little bit just to be cautious, okay? Because, these are investments in a lot of cases, and it's going to take some time. It's hard to know everything. You can't know everything. There's all sorts of different separate markets in the book world, like when it comes to Bibles or whatever different field you're in, or ephemera. So I take the road of caution more so, and again, do about a 30% at most in these cases of what I believe I can pull retail. It gives me a cushion, that 30%. My seller fees are generally between 23 and 30%. So I'm hoping to net around the 40% mark. So whatever your fees are, there's all sorts of different factors. It's hard to make a video on something like this because it's a really broad topic, and each pick is unique in its own way in terms of what's in there, and also dealing with the uniqueness of individuals themselves. It definitely changes. The dynamics change constantly. Now, one thing that I don't base my buys on is perceived first editions. It's very easy to get burned on first editions. Sometimes it has taken me hours to confirm a first edition is actually what it is. There's different kinds of first editions. There's later text states, later binding states. It's a lot of information to know. And since you're dealing with such a large haul, unless if these people are willing to sit there with you for hours on end as you go through, it's not even feasible. And so again, say if I come to a storage unit that is filled with boxes of books. Now, I sometimes, I'm not going to say I do myself a disservice, but I definitely take more time than your general guy who's buying the whole haul. I look through more boxes than what's probably necessary. To be quite honest with you, you could, if there's 50, 60 boxes, you could realistically look through 10 boxes and probably have a very good grounding as to the quality of the books themselves and make an offer based on that. Again, I look through more boxes than that in the large majority of cases. Just, I don't know, curiosity. I like to take, if I have the time, I like to take it, but that's up to you and how you approach and pursue that pick, obviously. So yeah, now other things that may change is that if there is a unique individual book that is highly valuable, and they want, say, $1,000 for a particular title. Now that's quite an investment for most people to make. But if I have a buy lined up immediately, and say if I can turn that for $1,500, I have no problem paying up for it. And as you continue your growth, buying and selling books, you're going to accumulate knowledge of what your customers are interested in, what they can afford. But even if they per se do not generally buy a book for that much, say if it is like the holy grail of this book that could add to their collection, then in a handful of cases they will pay that for it. So it's a confidence in being able to make purchases for a significant amount like that, and also being patient, to have the ability to stay patient with individual books, knowing that it's going to take some time to sell certain ones. I sold this year a couple large volume sets that I was invested in, that was over the 30% mark, but I did know that at some point they would sell. Everything generally does sell at some point. It's just finding the right buyer, obviously. So those 2 sets took me 3 years to sell, but I netted over $300 for each set. So, you know, there's a lot of different things when it comes to buying large book hauls, but I'm trying to make it, you know, simple on you guys and straightforward. It's hard to get into exact particularities with this stuff. If you want to ask me a direct question on a specific thing about this, go ahead, and I'll try the best I can to answer it in the description below. So I'm just going to look over my notes here and just make sure that I've answered you guys to the best of my ability. So, and I think I have. So this is basically how the process works. I'd say the one thing that I believe I missed in the first, when somebody calls me on a pick, is I also am buying for how much quantity. Is it hundreds of books? Is it thousands of books? That was one thing I believe I did miss. So anyhow, guys, to recap: desirability, rate of sale, the quantity, the condition and state, and I pay upwards to 30% of retail value, and that is always subject to change. So anyhow, I'm going to take this off and stretch my legs a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value in it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button, and you can stay in tune with other videos that I put out here. If you have any specific questions, ask them down below. And if you buy large book hauls and book lots, I'd love to know your tips and what you do and how you approach it, because I'm always learning. I still consider myself in many ways like a pup in the field. I've been doing it for quite a while, and I'm getting very good at it. I'm very confident in how I buy and sell, and my business is proof of that. But I always kind of say, to me, it feels like it should be like, it should take 10 years with this until you can say you're professional. But I mean, that's just me. That's just a number I have in my head, or at least more professional than some. But I do the best I can here with these videos. They take a bunch of work putting together, so I really do hope you're enjoying them. I think a lot of you are. So anyhow, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I appreciate all the support. My business continues to grow, and you guys are a big part of that. So thank you very much. Check out the seller site. You'll get 20% off of any book that's listed at $100 or down. I'd be happy to do business with you. I ship all over the world. Guys, until next time, take care.